Hello, hello. The Bloodlust is live. We're a little late today, but that's for multiple reasons. Had a friend get a hold of me that I haven't spoken to in a little while, so had to finish up that phone call, but we're gonna hop into Trackmania 2020 week 63. Of course, we're going to start out with the reviews of week 62. I did actually grind a bit on a few of these tracks. There was a couple of them that I enjoyed quite a lot. What up, Zayphone? Gonna go DD for about 5 hours. Not sure what DD means, but alright. Appreciate you showing up, man. It's always good to have you here anyway. Hope that you're having a good day. What up, Johnny? Thanks for popping in. Fast themed track. DoorDash. Oh, okay. I should have known that. My bad. A fast themed track would go pretty hard. That would be pretty interesting, actually. I wonder how you would do that. It'd be like jump scares or something along the way, like a roller coaster ride kind of thing. You know, like what is the I know there's a word for it. It haunted something in like one of those little tunnels that you go through. I did indeed. I have been having a good day. Thanks for asking, man. How are you? Heck yeah. Appreciate having viewers in stream. Thank you so much. Thanks for looking out. Hope you're having a good day too. So we're gonna hop into Trackmania 2020. Still got our eyeball counter on the screen because I forgot to put that away last time. Speaking of phasmophobia, thinking through a tour through some of the different hauntings could recreate it. Yeah, it could possibly. That would actually be a really interesting thing. I don't know how I would do that on Xbox. It's pretty limited with the map creator, but could probably commission something or find one that's already around. We could look forward actually maybe today. But of course, we're going to start with the weekly shorts. If you're viewing over on YouTube, check out the links in the description below. Should be there. I think so. When I was setting up, it didn't show everything that it usually does. But in any case, we are live also on Twitch with the full screen. You think it could possibly get into the weeklies? I mean, that would be pretty sick. It looks like they got a Pac-Man track. Quackman. That's amazing. They got a Pac-Man track this week, so yeah, everybody always loves the cameos. Might be worth checking out or trying to figure out in any case. Have your own map there. Yeah, there's a couple of tracks that I've tried to submit, but I don't know. They don't seem to love the Xbox created tracks, which is unfortunate. They give us less to work with, and then they don't give us any love in the officials. But you know, whatever. That's okay. PC Master Race, I guess. So we're gonna start out with week 62, doing the reviews. You can see here, I did manage to get a couple of good scores, number 63 and number 51. Found myself a really freaking sweet shortcut on this track. Still 2 seconds, almost like a second and a half behind world record. Sometimes I wonder how they managed to do crazy stuff like that. We got Shield Bandit up on the records here in Oregon. See how they did in the world. Nowhere to be seen on the world records. Oh, that was just the Oregon record. They're freaking 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds ahead of me on the world records. In any case, we're gonna hop out into it. starting with track 306 of, or track 1 of week 62. Elora. This one is fun, but also kind of annoying. I was watching a YouTube video about what it would be like to live in the world of cyberpunk while I was grinding on this track. You're seeing my best lap here. It's a pretty simple track, kind of short. You want to start here off to the left side, get yourself a little bit of extra speed, of course, closing the gap every time you want to reduce your distance as much as possible up there. And you got to kind of drift a little ways on that one, but you want to go wide so that you can go tighter into the finish. There is even potential for a bug slide there, but I was unable to achieve that in my runs. Unfortunately, this is a terrible attempt right here. I did finally manage to get a pretty good run on it a couple of times. And I did actually get a bug slide once going into the finish, but it's pretty difficult to maintain it because you're going kind of slow, so you don't really have a lot of speed. You need kind of a good amount of speed to get the bug slide. In any case, that was my attempt. Had a little bit of extra speed there at the start, slowed down hitting that grass section, landed a little sideways, lost a bit of speed. You want to try to land as straight as possible, of course, but just the way that everything's angled here, it's hard to land completely straight just because of the fact that you got a really swift turn right here into the second checkpoint. So we're gonna check out the records. We got JMCQ, Jacob J 2000, Voltsy, Luca, and Desi, some names that we recognize there. We're gonna start with JMCQ. In the back here, cutting across the grass and going straight through that. I didn't even realize there was a booster there. Wow. Skipping through the upright there and avoiding the booster, going straight into the finish. They don't even care about the penalty grass. Hitting that booster, jumping past that tree, making it through that tight gap there, ignoring that booster there and going straight into the finish. That's kind of a surprise, honestly. I was expecting them to try to avoid more of that penalty grass, but it seems like on this track it doesn't really matter. Excellent run there by everybody in the bottom three of the top five. Nice and smooth. You can see they're pretty much even going into this gap. Jacob J and Voltsy drop a little bit farther off to the left or to the right side, skipping more of that penalty grass, going through the checkpoint and then making a slightly tighter turn into the finish here. Nice easy run there. Let's check out from Voltsy's perspective with Luca there. And I crashed the game again, didn't I? Nope. Okay, cool. Wow, we got lucky. So we got Voltsy and Luca here. Luca's a bit ahead going into the booster. Looks like they had a slightly tighter turn coming out of the start, but they lose a bit of speed there, dropping down into that last section before the finish. Honestly, really a huge surprise that they just go straight through most of the penalty grass. I was not expecting that, but I also didn't even notice that booster was there. If I had noticed that booster, probably would have changed my approach a little bit. Luca losing a little bit of speed there in that turn, but making it into the finish just a hair ahead of Voltsy. Excellent run. Let's check out Desi with Luca behind here. Desi going pretty straight down the hill there, directly into the booster. Got a bit more speed than Luca, straighter across that section, and a little wide to get a tighter turn into the finish line, getting them in 200ths ahead of Luca. Nice easy run. Not really a lot to examine here, just a better route, one that I was unaware of. Still, good run, good run. Excellent work to Desi, Luca, Voltzi, Jacob J, JMCQ on track 306. We're gonna move right along to track 2, week 62 here. Waiting for the replay to pop up. This one was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this track. There's a lot of nuance to it. Want to skip as many of the corners as you can. Want to avoid that engine off, of course. A little bit of a drift there. If you took that a little bit wider, you can full turn or full grip turn that. Nice straight line into the hidden finish. Quote, hidden finish. It's actually not that hidden. I saw it pretty early on, but one thing I did kind of mess up on there was right there at the start, that grass patch here. Want a nice tight turn here, keeping contact with the ground. Oh, bumping that grass block. Keeping contact with the ground here, trying to avoid that fence. Nice tight line around here, going across that corner there. And then you want to ride on the edge of this grass patch to keep a little bit more of your speed. In my best run, I missed it, but it is a really tight line. There's a lot of tight lines this week. Skipping that corner a little bit, avoiding that engine off. Nice tight line there. We go wide here so we can, nope, cannot full grip that. At least not with the approach that I have here. A little bit of a drift there, going through the triangle and up onto this platform into the finish. Try that one more time. Nice tight line here. You want to go a little bit to the left so you can get your tire to drop off and keep grip as you go around this corner. Going around, skipping this edge a little bit, avoiding the engine off. I said avoiding the engine off. Bad line there. Hitting that engine off again, but you want to hit that that side section there so that you can keep more grip. The less of the grass that you hit, the better, of course. A little bit of a drift there. Nice tight line through this second or fourth checkpoint, I guess. There's a lot of checkpoints on this one. For such a short track, there's a lot of checkpoints. In any case, you get the idea. We're going to check out the records here. We got Ewan TM, Seawind, Desi, Voltzi again. Desi and Voltzi are on the top 5 on a lot of these tracks this week. And Exosum, definitely a few names that we recognize. So we're going to start with Ewan TM's perspective here. Nice tight line, barely missing that fence, hitting the corner of that grass, cutting that corner, avoiding the engine off, and going across the edge there to keep as much speed as possible. Slight little drift tap there, dropping down, going through the triangle, and barely making it up onto that platform into the finish. That is a tough line. You want to go as low as possible so that you have as little airtime as you can get away with, but also if you go too low, then you're going to clip that edge. But they had a lot of speed going into it. Looked like Seawind kind of bonked off of it, but managed to get a nice straight line into the finish there. Ewan a little behind. Seawind and Desi going a little bit tighter around that corner there. Seawind actually hit that kind of upright section there just before the finish line. Slightly different line from all three of the racers here. Looks like Seawind goes a little bit tighter to the left and barely misses that upright into the pavilion, going to the finish there. Nice run though, really smooth, keeping as much speed as possible. Trying to maintain as much of their speed as they can through that last checkpoint before the finish line. Nice easy run. Let's go ahead with Voltzi's perspective here. Voltzi with Desi behind. Voltzi going a little bit wider around the first turn, cutting that corner, missing the engine off. Nice straight across that edge. Kind of wondering how Voltzi catches up so much before the finish line here. Oh, and again, going to the left and bouncing straight into the finish. Desi took the wide line. That's how Voltsy got ahead, it looks like. Riding that edge all the way, tire even kind of hanging off of the edge of the platform there. Bouncing off of that 45 and going right into the finish line. A beautiful line. Nice smooth run, little double drift tap there. Making it look easy, though it is not. Great run by Voltsy, Desi, everyone there. Let's go ahead with Exosum and Voltsy behind. Exosum going a little bit tighter around the first turn, cutting that corner, skipping the engine off, riding the edge of that platform, going a little bit tighter around this corner, barely missing that grass section, and once again bouncing into the finish. They just had a slight bit more speed than Voltsy. Not really a lot to examine here. Once again, just nice clean runs. Exosum with a little bit more of a tight line at the start, giving them all of that extra distance they needed pretty much through the whole run, gaining a little bit more speed, going a slightly tighter angle through the third checkpoint. Nice line through the triangle on the fourth, and just bouncing into the finish. Excellent run by Exosum, Voltsy, Desi, Seawind, and Ewan. Only half a second ahead of me. Feel pretty good about that one, but even though they're only half a second ahead of me, I'm still 12,000. It's crazy sometimes how little the distance can be between me and the records. I even had one where I was like just a couple tenths behind the world record and still didn't even break the top 10K. It's crazy. There's a lot of competitors in these tracks. Again, great work to everybody there on track 2 of week 62. Sovereign. Going ahead to track 3. Track 3, I did enjoy quite a bit. Actually, this one is really a lot of fun. There's several different paths that you can take here. One fun path actually that I started with was this path here. If you do it just right, gotta go a little wide so you can go tight through this section and jump over that engine off. And you want to get a good angle on that downhill. A little wide here, jump over, get a good angle on that downhill, maintaining as much speed as possible. And then you fly upside down through that ring, and you got to get a slight angle through it and to get into that finish line. I only managed to do it like once or twice, but it's definitely a hard route. If you don't maintain enough speed, then you don't fly far enough, but if you keep too much speed, then you go right past the finish there. Yo, heck yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate having you here. So that's one option. You can go that way. If you manage to get just the right angle past that block there. I just want to make it just once. I'm not very good at flying in this game. Yeah, if you can get just the right angle past that block, then you can fly yourself into the finish. That's a good line. I'm assuming probably going to be something similar to that. There's a few other routes you can go, but the route that I found that I'm pretty proud of actually here is there is this loop over here, and the intended route, of course, is to go through this loop across this section. Nice smooth landing there, and you can keep a lot of speed getting up onto this platform into the finish. Nice straight line there, but I did a little bit of investigation. Of course, whenever you have a loop like that, there's always the potential to skip the loop. So you flip yourself over here, you try to land flat on that plastic if possible. It is pretty difficult, but it can be done. Or you can also jump off the side there and water bounce across, but then you have wet tires and it's really hard to maintain your speed with wet tires across a section like this. Let's see if we can get a nice line here. Almost enough speed. The problem again with the water bounce is going once you have wet tires and you hit plastic, you basically have zero traction. So you want to hit that loop, try to fly over this corner if you can. And you have a really narrow window to hit this flip right here. But if you hit it just right, you can actually fly over that downhill section right onto the plastic. Whoops. Come on, let's hold our line here. There we go. Get a nice flat landing there. And dang it. Keeping a lot of speed onto this section, and then you go up and into that finish right there, going right up the side out of the bobsleigh. You got to get just the right angle on that bobsleigh to get out of it. Got to go a little towards the inside here so that you can shoot up and into the finish line. And it's, again, kind of a narrow window to hit that finish, but it is a very satisfying line if you can actually manage to get it. Again, do that little flip there. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. If you can get the flip a little bit straighter, you can land actually on the downhill, but you run the chance of hitting that wall or landing upside down, kind of like that. Again, it's a very narrow window. Yeah, and you hit that wall there, of course, losing a lot of your speed. But once again, making the jump up here and into the finish line. I'm pretty proud of my run. I managed to make it number 36 in Oregon. No, I think I'm only like just barely inside the top 6 or 7K in the world. Again, not amazing, but we're gonna check out the records here. We got Akubne, Aquarium, Niku, Sobs, and Techie. Techie, a veteran, been around for a very long time. Niku has been in the top 5 on quite a lot of tracks. They always have really good runs. Aquarium also been around for a long time, at least as long as these weekly shorts have been a thing. Been seeing them pretty regularly. So we're going to start with Akubne, and they go to the right here, completely avoiding that engine off section here and doing a zoop flight into the finish. I literally just said it, that this would probably be the direction that they would take. I felt like this would be the right path. Quite the interesting line there. They go in the air slightly to the right, just enough to get through the ring, and then back to the left and landing at the finish there. You can see Akubne way behind Aquarium and Niku. Aquarium and Niku flying almost directly into the finish. They're 1/10 separating them. In fact, almost 2/10 separating them. You don't see separation quite like that in the top 5 very often. Thank you for the follow, by the way, there, Antidot. Right through those trees, really tight line, flying through that ring and onto that platform into the finish. That is kind of wild, not gonna lie. I can't believe I didn't think about jumping across that corner there. There's no checkpoint to prevent you from doing so. Excellent line. Just that flight is really impressive. We're gonna just go ahead with Sob's perspective here, with Niku behind. Sob's a little bit behind going into the downhill, but catching a slight bit more speed, somewhat of a smoother landing, and barely making it through that ring and directly into the finish. Doesn't even touch the ground. The perfect line, almost, you could say. Nice downhill there, flipping off the edge of that half pipe. It's like a 3/4 pipe, actually. Just barely making it through the ring and straight into the finish there without even touching the ground. It's always impressive. Whenever you have a reactor on the map, there's always some crazy shenanigans that take place. The reactor path is almost always the right path. Just incredible to see. Well done to Sobs there. Just an impressive line. But Techie doing it even that much better. So let's see Techie's line here with Sobs behind. Techie going a little bit tighter into that first turn, hitting the downhill a little bit slower, but catching a slight, catching a bit more speed off of the ramp cut. Looks like he actually got kind of a zoop off of the side of the platform there and barely making it into the finish. What a crazy, crazy line. Barely through the ring, hitting the edge there and flipping off of it into the finish. What a line. Holy cow. Excellent run. Excellent, excellent run to everybody there. Really impressive. Definitely looks like Techie did get just the tiniest bit of a zoop right there. Just barely caught a tiny bit of speed off of the edge or the side of the loop as he was going over. He just barely flipped enough to where the game registered that he was about to touch the ground. And for whatever reason, when you have a reactor and you get close to the ground, the game will like kind of suck you back towards the ground. And if you can get that at a certain angle sometimes, that's what we call the zoop, and that will launch you a little bit farther, or a little bit faster rather. Just barely catching that little bit of speed there from that flip and bouncing off the wall into the finish. Sobs definitely with the cleanest run out of everybody in this one. Is just what an impressive line. Going straight over the corner there. Nice, almost perfectly smooth landing there. Nice speed, barely making it through the ring and directly into the finish. Techie had the fastest run, but I would say Sobs definitely had the best run out of everybody in the top 5 there. Well done to Techie, Sobs, Niku, Aquarium, and Akubni. Definitely an impressive line. Love to see it. It's always some fun to be had when there's a reactor on the map. Moving on to track 4. Now, I did grind on this one a little bit, but I didn't love this track. This was another one I was watching the last part of that Cyberpunk Living video when I was grinding on this track. So you want a nice smooth line there. You definitely want to keep grip on the slope. So you got to hit it at the right angle here. Nice downhill, nice smooth line uphill. A little bit of air time, but you know, it could be worse. On a nice smooth line through the second checkpoint here, and then you want to go as straight as you possibly can through this last section without hitting any of the snow. Definitely want a tighter line here, but I didn't go through that checkpoint at a very good angle. And then as early as you can into the finish there. It's a very simple track, but whenever you have a simple track like this, there's always lots of gains to be made. Nice smooth line there. And nope, not enough of an angle going into that section. So you want a little bit of an angle there so that you can make it through that corner with all of your speed. And then you want to go nice and tight through here. You want to try to go as flat as possible through that section. And nice straight into the finish. Of course, you want to get as early or as close as you can into the finish line. I finished number 85 in Oregon. I think I'm like 15K in the world, so nothing too impressive, but I felt pretty good about my run. I could have improved it a little bit, but I got bored of it. I put a ton of attempts into this track, and I didn't make a lot of improvements. So we're gonna go ahead and check out the records. I'm only actually 0.7 behind 19K. I'm only 0.7 behind the records here. Looks like we got a tie between Bosi and Zirko. Got Bosi, Zirko, Voltzi, Dowers, and Elton Brawl. Nice and low through that first section, keeping all of their speed almost touching that wall, and as low as you could possibly go through this section. And the earliest point of that finish, looks like they almost clipped that wall into the finish line. Nice and low there, keeping all of your contact. Nice tight line through that turn, clipping that corner, almost touching the snow, and nice and straight, almost as straight as you can get going into the finish there. Beautiful run. Bosi a little bit ahead in the beginning here, but lost a tiny bit of speed in that turn. Really hard to hit that turn with a nice low landing. Kind of wonder how Voltzi managed to gain so much speed in that last section. Let's actually look at Voltzi here. Voltzi was Zirko behind. Voltzi's a little bit behind in the start. A little bit lower, straighter section through that first section there. Nice line there. A little bit of a speed slide. And they go really low here and barely make it into the finish with more speed. I really am questioning how they managed to get more speed there, because they were actually behind Zirko the whole time. A little wide going onto the booster there, and just looks like they went just a tiny bit tighter across that snow section. Beautiful run there. So let's go with Dowers here. Dowers' perspective with Voltzi behind. Dowers going a little wide there, straighter through that slopey section. Nice and tight, almost touching the wall there. Holy cow. Just barely ahead of Voltzi here, and they go a little bit lower. Just that bit straighter was enough to get them into the finish line. It shows that they're ahead, but they're actually tied. We have two ties. We got 17.048 and 17.045. Two ties in the top 5. Not very often that you see a leaderboard like that. In fact, this might be the first time in the weeklies that we've had two ties in the top 5. To the 1,000th. 3,000 separating them even. That is incredible. Voltzi a little bit more erratic on their line there. Dowers going slightly straighter, got a bit more speed going through the second checkpoint. A little bit lower, but Voltzi catches up just before the finish there, and they cross the finish line at exactly the same moment. Excellent run. Let's go with Elton Brawl here with Dowers behind. Looks like Elton goes a little bit lower down the slope, a little bit tighter through this section. Barely missing the wall again. Straight across that corner, nice and low. Dowers is catching up, but Elton just had barely enough speed to keep it up, and they managed to get into the finish just ahead of Dowers. Hitting the horn through the corner. Hitting the horn again just before the finish line. Barely missing that snow patch. In fact, it looks like they almost even kind of hit the snow patch just the tiniest bit before the finish there. Dowers catching up, but going a little bit wider before the booster there. They did, in fact, hit that snow patch just the tiniest bit, but managed to get in there. 13 hundredths ahead, or 13 thousandths rather, ahead of Dowers. Beautiful run, beautiful run by everybody there in the top 5. Elton Brawl with the world record at 17.032, followed by Dowers, Voltzi, Zirko, and Bosi. Again, two ties on this track, which is really impressive to see. Super close leaderboard, only 1,000th, only 16 thousandths separating everybody in the top 5. What a crazy close race that was. Excellent work to everybody once again. Moving on to the next one. What's up, Gliffy? Thanks for popping in chat. Good to see you. Yo. We're on the last track here of week 62, Full Send. This one kind of reminded me of the Hot Wheels track from a few weeks back, with this turn specifically right here. It is interesting little section. Got two 90-degree angle turns there. That was not very smooth at all. I don't love full plastic tracks. They are rough. Getting a little bit of a bounce there actually. And we do the wall ride. And we want to skip the little ramps as best we can and straight into the finish. That wasn't the most terrible line, but it wasn't incredible either. There's definitely a few ways that you can improve on this track. That little bit of a bounce there on the back actually was a good one. And you might even be able to use those ramps to get a zoop off of, but you definitely want to go, excuse me, you definitely want to go low through that half pipe section. Got the world record route slow, so managed to get top 65. Dang. Yeah, with all of the reactors on, that was okay. With all of the reactors on this track, there's always some crazy shenanigans people get into. Of course, it is a plastic track too, so there's lots of potential to like bounce outside of the track. And with the rally car, it is kind of a finicky vehicle. It's hard to control in a lot of ways. It's the most reactive for sure. Oh, nice. There we go. That's a beautiful line. Whoops. Bad bounce there, but we go low across the half pipe. And nice. There we go. Half a second almost improvement over my PB. That actually would have been really nice to get while I was grinding for it, but I do not love plastic tracks. They are very random and annoying to me. So what was the time there? 16:02. That's not too bad, not too bad. Let's check out the records. Mine was a 16:028. Plastic rally is your shiz. Yeah. That's like I said, it reminds me very much of the that Hot Wheels track from a few weeks ago. Except for that one had a lot more like randomness to it when you had to like cut across the corner and bounce off of the edge of that one section. That was definitely a very difficult line. We're gonna check it out. We got Limon, Iomo, and Coin 360. Limon and Coin 360, we're familiar with them. Nice snap going through the first checkpoint there and going backwards through this section. Whoa. That was kind of wild, not gonna lie. Flipping around backwards through the second turn and bouncing off of the wall into the finish there. Specifically with the rally car, going in reverse seems to actually be more efficient than going forward. Last week we had another person that had a backwards finish on that one snow track. What a crazy line, going through the finish, upside down and backwards. That zoop is legendary. What a crazy run. Even with that line though, still not much time separating them. 13:277, 13:267. What a line, holy cow. Let's look at Lusasol. coin 360 there. Nice snap going through the first checkpoint. Hitting the backwards section with a bit more speed. And just barely, oh, they actually tied. I didn't notice that. Tying going into the finish. Lusa with actually a bit more speed through most of the track, but this bounce equalized them. Looks like coin 360 managed to hit the plastic bounce a little bit sooner, which got him closer to the finish, and they tied going into it. But we got a huge gap between Lusa and KDC here. KDC with a 12.909. Let's see what they did to get that. Oh, actually, let's restart that again here. Oh, I crashed the game. Damn it. Get a 12.598. Just too random. Yeah, I don't like plastic tracks for that exact reason, just because of the fact that they are, as you say, so random. 12.598 though, that's an impressive run. What was your, you said 65 was your finishing position? That's really good. I think the best I've ever managed to get was inside the top 200 on one track. It was actually kind of a roulette track way back, I don't know, like week 20 something, but they had one that was like you started out backwards and you had to loop around, and there was a bunch of plastic bounces and reactors, and then there was a close finish that like went underground. Best placement is 8th. Damn. Yeah, I am nowhere near that caliber. As you can see here, I am just barely inside the top 50 on one track here this week, and not even inside the top 10K on most, worldwide anyway. Only play shorts and grind the most of the week. Yeah, I play a bunch of different games, and I got a group of friends that we play all sorts of different stuff with, so I don't grind on these tracks as much as I probably could. But the other thing too is that it kind of becomes a headache for me. Oh, what are we doing here? We're going with KDC's perspective. Just would do all 5 of them from KDC's perspective. KDC getting a bit more speed out of the start. Nice snap. Looks like Lusa had the best line to begin with, getting a huge zoop there. KDC manages to stay on his wheels and gets a massive zoop into the finish line. 1 in a million line right there. Straight into the finish with so much speed. He must have maxed out. Let's see, actually, can we see what his speed is going into the finish line there? Because that was so insanely fast. The 380, you just barely get to see it there before the finish. Goes straight to max speed with the zoop. Yeah, it looks like 380 or something, but the rally car is a bit slower. Its max speed actually isn't as high as the stadium car. What an incredible run there. Manages to get back up on his wheels and just gets a massive zoop. Holy crap. Light speed all of a sudden. Insane. Getting him in there ahead by 0.3, which is huge on a track this short. Oh, 984, my bad. 984, I just barely saw a glimpse of it. Holy cow. He does actually almost hit max speed right before the finish line. And the perfect angle, missing all of those little kickers. What a crazy, crazy run. Holy cow. Lusa with a nice line going into the wall bounce, but KDC getting a light speed launch into the finish line. Jeez, that is insane to watch. A little bit zoop off that kicker and just Boom, 984. Man, the speed on that. He was second place start. That's like 0.7. Yeah. The amount of time that he made up is actually wild. Because he was a bit behind Lusa here. Go put Lusa back in it. You can see he was actually really far behind Lusa going into that wall bounce, but the fact that he managed to flip back over on his tires and get probably one of the most insane zoops of all time, that is crazy. What kind of mechanic causes that to happen? That is not something I think I've ever seen before. Just all of a sudden, maximum speed. Insanity. What a run. Well done to KDC there with one of the craziest zoops I've ever seen. Lusa getting a nice run. Coin 360. EMO and Limon all in the top 5. Excellent run to everybody. I do not have the patience for running all of the attempts on that. 984, yeah. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Plastic rally reactors, a true gamble. Yeah, true gamble. Something went wrong. Don't tell me that. Get out of here. Oh, and world record holders by points. This is Desi, 62,500. Voltseed, a bit behind with 53,000. Elton Brawl, 49,832. Just barely ahead of Techie with a 49,316. And Exosum, 47,590 points. Desi getting in the top 5 on 2 tracks there, but must have been in the top 10 or at least pretty close to the top 5 on the final 3 there. But just what an insane line. Holy cow. Do I do rooms? Yeah, I'll do a room. I just don't usually have a ton of people in chat to do a room with. I haven't even attempted these tracks yet. I usually save them until Tuesday for the Trackmania reviews. I can start a room though. I was actually thinking about reviewing the weekly grand though too. I did actually grind a bit on this one. Made it just inside the top 1,000. 999 on this one, which actually that's pretty good. I feel good about that. Number 5 in Oregon. Yes. I don't think people have a lot of patience for the grands, but I play a lot of like Forza, so it's right up my alley. I really do not appreciate the AI all over the place. They are absolute cancer. Just the fact that they're like a freaking wall. They're stuck on a track. Yeah, the AIs, man, they basically are just cancer. I do not like them at all. It's just, like I said, the fact that they're like a freaking wall, they just stop you dead in your tracks. It is so frustrating. But managed to make it just inside the top 1,000 in the world. I'm freaking a minute and a half almost behind the world record holder. The world record holder even 5 seconds ahead of second place, which when you're looking at a 8-minute run, when you're looking at an 8-minute run, actually that's not a massive gap, but we'll skip that one for now. We might do a run on it before the end of the day, but yeah, let's do a room. If you're not already part of the crew, I have a club set up. It is TBL Rally. And let's see here. Whoopsie. Create a room. And we'll do the weekly shorts number 63. And let's see. EU West. Interesting. 300 seconds. 5 minutes. Do 600. 10 minutes. There we go. There we go. Need at least one track. Oops. Did it keep the 600? No, it reset because I freaking hit the button on accident. Apply. And a name. Oh. We just call it room 1. There we go. All right. Starting out on track 1 here. Feel free to join. Again, that is TBL Rally, the Bloodlust Rally. I also have a custom campaign that I have been working on. Got 5 tracks up on that. There is another track that I've had in the works for a while, but I just haven't gotten it finished, unfortunately. I will probably finish that up here sometime soon, but yeah, definitely feel free to check out my campaign too. They are all dirt themed. I am a big fan of dirt. Is it gonna freaking join at some point? There we go. A little wide through that section. Oh, okay. I want to go a little bit tighter here. Nice downhill there. Try to keep as much contact as we can across the dirt. Oh, this is a tough one. Really steep downhill right there. And then our discovery run. Trying to stay low there, but that's actually Coffric. Oh, I recognize that name. You virtual watcher? Virtual in his pyramids. That's tough to keep your contact going down that first dirt hill section. Used to watch him a lot, yeah. Yep. Just the Coffre made me think of it, of course, since he's got that pyramid fetish. All right, there we go. That's not too bad. I like that. You got a 16, second and a half ahead of me. Oh, and we get the author medal. I would assume probably got that pretty good there. Okay, nice. We keep contact that time, but going a little wide. I want to try to stay as low as we can through that dirt section. Yeah, I haven't actually... The last virtual video that I watched was the Worlds tournament. And the main reason that I actually ended up watching that one was just because Shield Bandit was in the RPG section there with tournament, or with virtual, my bad. And Shield Bandit is a player from my state, so pretty excited to see how they did. I think they finished number 12 or something like that, just ahead of Virtual. It was actually kind of disappointing to see Virtual get knocked out at number 16, but there was definitely a couple of huge mistakes in that race. A lot of people made some pretty big mistakes in that race. Nice line there. We want to go low through this section, going a little wide into that checkpoint. So let's try to go as low as we can through each one of these sections, but it's also difficult to turn on this dirt like that. Oh, yeah, too tight there. launching myself into the hill section. Again, if you are playing Trackmania, feel free to hop in. We are in room 1 on TBL Rally. Check out the club. Love to add some new members. Oh, nice line there. Okay. Go tight through there. And tight through that section, and boom! 16 threes, not bad. Getting better. Gliffy here, kicking my ass. Nice line there. A little bit up the hill to get a better line through that section. I see. So I'm going 2 straight through that section. Need to go a little bit wider so I can get a better push into that second checkpoint. Oh, lost some contact there. Bumping off the corner. Try to keep our contact on the dirt. Nice. Get some speed from the hill. And tight through that into the finish for a 16-3. Definitely want to get more speed off of that second section there. Might spectate your line here in a moment. Clipping the corner of the sand isn't great. A little bit of a snap there. Going a little too wide through that last section. We want to just barely weave around that sand so we can keep our speed. Nice downhill there. Going a little wide, a little too wide. Nope, hitting the wall. That was a pretty good line there. Oh. Ah, dang. Went 2 straight through that next section. Again, if you're watching over on YouTube and you'd like to see the full screen action, check out The Bloodlust on twitch.tv. We got full screen over on Twitch. Definitely come check us out. Hit that follow button. Trying to hit 200 maybe by the end of the year. We're at 120. We're closer to hitting 200 on YouTube, but love to have as many followers over on Twitch as possible. We do all kinds of different content. Trackmania every Tuesday, whatever on Wednesdays. I got a bunch of different stuff that I'm working on Wednesdays right now. Might do Blue Fire again tomorrow. Oh, lost some speed into that last section there. Definitely will probably have to spectate your line because it looks like you got a much better line for that than I do. Oh, and losing it right there at the finish. I would have PB'd almost, but I went a little too wide around the sand section. Keeping our contact on the dirt there. Nope. Snap too early. It's good to snap, but you got to make sure that you have your line figured out before you do it. Nice little snap there. Go a little high here so we can go straighter through that checkpoint. Just barely around the corner. Dang. 15-9. That's already pretty impressive. Losing a lot of speed through that section. We both bounced off the wall at the same time. That's funny. that would have been a great line if I hadn't hit the sand there. Barely clipping the edge of that sand, losing some speed to my PB. Barely around that. Hitting that sand really slows you down a lot. Let's actually spectate here. Cutting the corner there. Nice slow line through that section. I see, okay. Right through the checkpoint and nice line into the finish there. Is that a 16 none? 16 null? Cutting the corner a little bit. Nice line there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Almost PB'd. Dang. Close one. Lost just a tiny bit of speed right before the finish line there. That was a good line though. Oh, it's been 10 minutes already? Damn. Goes by fast. Excellent run there. Almost PB'd at the end. $9.38. We have a 9:51 there. Yeah, I haven't done any of these tracks yet. This is my discovery. We go, oh, interesting, okay. Go a little bit wider so we can go tighter around this section. Full gripping that. Oh, okay, so we need to go to the outside so we don't launch through that checkpoint. Damn, that's a tough one. Not the biggest fan of tech tracks, to be honest. Ah, dang, okay. Be careful about clipping that corner. Oof. Yeah, this is tough. Releasing a little bit in a couple of sections, so we're going to want to drift that, or we're going to want to go a little bit tighter maybe. Oh, hitting that corner hella, but that's okay, we keep going. Little bit of a drift tap and smacking the wall. That sucks. No, we got author medal anyway. We'll take that for now. 3 seconds behind you. Yeah, I'm bad at tech tracks. Oh, that was an auto drift. Love that. Oh, I barely scrubbed the wall. That's bull crap. That's okay. We improved though. We take improvements where we get them. Got an auto drift off of that last time. Nice line there. We try not to scrub the wall this time. Into the triangle. That actually wasn't too bad. Still a second and a half behind you. Another auto drift. Love it. Oh, I released. Unfortunate, but we still have more speed going to the finish. Let's go. Oh, stream's lagging a little bit. We don't love that. Unfortunate. I'm not gonna worry about that now because I'd have to restart the whole stream to fix it. Ooh, bad line. Oh, a little too tight that time. No, getting that auto drift, if you can get that auto drift, that freaking, actually, just like that. Oh, but, a little wide. Dang, clipping that corner really sucks. You go a little bit wider here. Go up there. Nope. There we go. Drift around that corner. Dang it. Didn't even look like I hit the wall. Missed the triangle. Oh, that was a good drift. If only we had been just a little bit wider, once again. Nope, not enough speed that time. I will probably have to spectate here once again. See what your line looks like. Nice tight around that pole, a little bit of a drift there. Going through the checkpoint. A little bit of a drift, double drift tap there. Okay. Are you aiming for the triangle in that first finish? Tight around the pole. A little bit of a drift tap there. Barely making it through that checkpoint. Double drift there. Okay. Good line through the checkpoint. Oof. Hitting that wall. I keep hitting that wall, just barely scrubbing it. Auto drift there. We take that. Boom! Huge! That was a big PB. Barely making it through the checkpoint. 0.2 ahead though. Oh man, that would have been incredible. Good line there. A little slow, but nope. Auto drift. slow again. Oh, it's a tough one. I am not that great on tech. Getting better at it, but still not very good. Auto drift, love it. That's a big improvement. Oh, and a little off to the left there. Bad aim. It was my bad. Good line there. Auto drift. A little bit of a adjustment. Oh, I couldn't turn tight enough. Second worst. Yeah. Yeah, tech is just not... It's a very finicky platform. You gotta be incredibly precise on tech. Which, as you can tell, I have a hard time with precision in this game. Oof. Straight thrown into the upright there. That was random. Oh, that was a beautiful line. No. Oh. One more try. One more try. Okay, two more. Nope. We don't have enough time now. Dang it. Well, GG, I suppose. Good run. Again, like about half a second ahead of me. Yeah, I have a hard time on tech. Just the drifting. It's a very demanding skill in this game. Track 3. Okay, I already see one. Okay. So we want to go up here. Probably. Yeah. Nice. Okay with that. 3 seconds ahead of me. Oh boy. A lot of improvements to be made here. Whoa, caught some airtime there. Nice, 1.2 improvement though, I like that. Yeah, I'm much better on tracks like this. Need to avoid the airtime at the second checkpoint though. That's one issue I'm having right now. Oof. the first track in a while. Oh, just barely missed that checkpoint. This is the first track 3 in a while that's not like an actual Pathfinder, though. Kind of surprised to see that. Oh, nice. There we go. Another huge improvement. Love to see it. Are you air braking before the first checkpoint there? Oh. No. Okay. Yeah, I figured the nose down was probably the best. Okay. So you go a little bit to the right through that section, I see. Avoid the airtime. Ah, okay. Aw. Landed too sideways. Interesting. It's a tough line. Lots of tough lines this week. We keep our speed and we get airtime there. That was bad. Okay. Aw, man, need to avoid that airtime. Oof. Yeah, that is a tough line. Dang it. It's doing so good. No worries, man. Kind of thought that was something like that. Yeah, to be honest, freaking the Ubisoft servers have been kind of cooked lately. Not gonna lie. I'm glad they updated it though after the first week when they dropped the new map packs, because it was bad. Probably just because there was such a heavy server slam. So many people were on checking it out. It literally took an hour before the game started registering my freaking my TVs. Ah, no worries. Need that Starlink, bro. I'm just kidding. To be honest though, Starlink is actually Starlink has been really good for me. I'm glad I made the switch. My previous internet was bad. Really bad. Speed. Ooh, dang. Oh, missed it. Dang, that would have been a good line though. Too bad I missed it. Don't even need to go up, just need a little bit of a wiggle there. Just enough to avoid the launch. Ah! And then that line. I had actually a really freaking good line a minute ago, but then I hit the grass. Or that. Might be good actually to air brake before that checkpoint. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, that's usually... That's why honestly, why I don't end up grinding so much is because a lot of it for me just comes down to luck. Getting like the perfect landing, you know, where your tires don't bounce at all, which a lot of the time, I don't know why, I have like anti-luck. I'll get a lot of the bug landings where like my tire clips in between two blocks and almost completely stops me dead. That happens a lot, actually. Yeah, if you can get a nice straight line through that last checkpoint and just barely touch it with your back tire. Like that. Let's go. Yeah, it was a PB. It wasn't incredible, but it was a PB. I'll take it. Kicking my ass, man. Not like that's a huge surprise, honestly. I'm nowhere near pro in this game. Grass Sloucher. I am kind of surprised though that they didn't have a Pathfinder track for track 3 this week. They almost always, I mean, since like week 5 or something, they started making track 3s the Pathfinders. I really enjoy the Pathfinders. They're my favorite in every week. Oh, another snow map. Okay. Just freaking zips right past me. I had a bad start though, for sure. Best map this week? Oh, okay. So that just means where I had little to no chance to getting a better time than you in the last few tracks, I have definitely no chance of getting a better time than you on this one. That landing is tough. Okay. Need to land a little bit more to the inside, it looks like. There we go. And the wall ride. And into the finish. No, that's not too bad. Top 21, holy cow. 17,872. Damn. Even just in these attempts. That's That's one thing. I want to land really low there. Whoops. Is there a way to skip the wall ride? That's a question. No, hit the freaking snow. There we go. That's a good PB. Just under a second behind you. Feel good about that. Going to the wrong finish. Okay, do I want to go to the right side then? That's the one. 3 to 5. 0.3.5 free. Okay, right side. That's the one thing. That's the one I went through to begin with, but just wasn't sure. Shit. Airtime. Ah, I see. Oh, all the way to the right. I just now saw it. Okay. Skip that grass and go way to the right there. That red arrow. Oops. That was a bad landing. Don't know why I've had a tickle in my throat like this whole freaking time. I see, okay. Way low. Damn it. Okay. #21st after 2 minutes. Holy cow. Watch the world record and you're 21st after 2 minutes of attempts. That's impressive. Even if I watch the world record, I don't know if I would be able to get it that fast. Alright, there we go. It's a bit of an improvement. Want a nice smooth landing here. If we can get it. Don't know how much you can improve. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have had a few that way. Ah, landed sideways. Yeah, I need to hit more of that booster for sure. Need to hit more of that booster and land straight. Gain like 0.05. That put you in the top 10. There we go. And damn it. Goal over the next few days. It seems like a fun track. Nice low there, really straight. Heck yeah, let's go. Way behind my PB though. Oh, but so much speed. Nice. I like that. Back-to-back PBs, all right. I like how they have the reset blocks for windows on the spectator section there up to the right. Dang. Gained a lot there. Getting tons of PBs here. Yeah, if I can break 18 seconds, I'll probably be happy with that. Nice straight landing, and we hit the snow. Dang it. Nice. Kept the same split between checkpoint to finish. Oops. A little too wide there, but pretty good landing here. More speed though. And PB, no. Ah, it was a little too wide into the finish. Perfect landing. Let's go. Oh, that bump. If I hadn't hit that bump. Still 0.1 behind your PB. Dang. Oh, there we go. That was a good turn. A lot of speed going here. Ah, yeah. Definitely want to hit the lower section. Nope. Missed that wall. Don't have enough time for another run, but we're gonna make an attempt anyway. Nice low speed, and we hit the snow. Damn it. GG's, man. You kicked my butt. Last track here. This one looks interesting. Okay, so the last track is the pick your own path. This is, I don't know why, but I love the like top-down isometric style tracks. It reminds me of Pro AM. Used to play that a lot when I was a kid. Number 69. Nice, giggity. Alright, we just want to finish. Want to avoid the duckies, though. Quack, man. I love the freaking That name is honestly hilarious. I might not even get a finish on this one. This is actually kind of tough. Barely missed the ducky. And what's the finish? Just back at the start? Or is it the red bars on the side? Red bar on the side, right? Yeah, okay. I see. Dang it. That second checkpoint, you can really cut if you get a nice line to it. Yeah. Barely. Oops. Ah. Yeah, this is a tough one. Really tough. Good line there. Bad. Around the ducky. Dang it. Damn you, duck. That damn duck. This track isn't all what it's quacked up to be. Ah. Nope. Having a really hard time even just getting the run on this one. Man, I had like the perfect line on one of my runs, but replicating it is tough. Yeah, that line right there. Let's just get a finish in here. There we go. Oh, we got the author. Take it. 12? Holy shit, bro. Yeah, okay. Alright, let's see it. I'm ready. I just figured something out there. You don't even have to go. Oh, I hit it. Damn. I thought I missed it. Didn't have to reset. Get out of my way, ducky. Well, it was a PB, but damn duck got in my way. Okay. Another PB. You can DM it to me. I do not actually, but yeah, you can DM it to me. Too many freaking Discord bots. Dang, I was on a good run there. $12 seconds. Holy cow. Yeah, I gotta see that. Can't do Twitch DMs. Okay. Do you have an Xbox account? Do that. am live on YouTube, yes sir. Yeah, if you have an Xbox account, you can send it to me there. It's here, I'll type it in chat. That's my my Xbox username. I appreciate you going through the effort to send me a clip, bro. Damn it. There it is. Anorexia cat. That's amazing. It's actually, that's hilarious because I have another Trackmania player that sent me a friend request a while back on Xbox. They're Thundercat TM. Lots of cat names. People love their cats, man. I mean, not gonna lie, I love my cat too. She is a queen. She's also a little turd. Furball. Here. I can pull up the link on my phone. I use the Xbox mobile app. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll pull it up on my phone. I won't be able to pull it up on the Xbox, but yes. Thank you. Huge thanks, definitely. And hey man, shout out for playing with me too. I appreciate you. I don't get a lot of people that hang around too much. I'm not a famous streamer, so you know, everybody wants to be in the chat with like thousands of people in it where nobody can read your messages. I don't get that, but definitely greatly appreciate you hanging out and racing with me. It's been fun. I think honestly, actually, I will probably call it here. It's been a whole lot of fun, man. Oh. Yeah, not referred to as chat, right? Yeah. No, exactly. I think it's more fun when you actually get some, you know, some interaction with. It's been a lot of fun, man. Definitely do come back. As I said, I do this every Tuesday. And sometimes, you know, if I don't have anything else going on, I'll do Trackmania on Wednesdays or on the weekend also. But for sure, freaking hit me up, man. Definitely come back for the next one. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to end the stream here, though. If you are watching over on YouTube, once again, you can come check me out over on Twitch and join the rooms. We do this every week. Trackmania on Tuesdays, whatever on Wednesdays, and Phasmophobia with Justin701 over on YouTube every Friday. It's actually, Phasmophobia has turned out to be one of my favorite parts of the week, so definitely do come back for that. Hope that we'll see you in the next one. Yeah, Phasmophobia is my shit, man. I've been actually getting a lot better at it. We're doing 1 and 2 evidence runs. Actually, we've tried a couple of 0 evidence runs, but I don't know if I'm good enough for that yet. But we've gotten pretty good at the 2 and 1 evidence runs. We do the weekly challenge for Phasmophobia every Friday. That's usually how we start our streams. We got our eyeballs counter. That's how we keep track of our wins and losses, is how many eyeballs we've lost. It's a lot of fun, so definitely do come back on Friday, man. It was great having you chat. Definitely a lot of fun playing with you. And yeah, freaking hope to catch you in the next one. Definitely do stay safe out there. Stay warm. Streets are crazy. People are crazy nowadays. You never know what's going to happen, but hope to catch you then. And as always, trust in the bloodlust.